Are you tired of losing all or most of your football bets? I'm gonna give you some of the mistakes that you do that cost you your stakes, and this leads to you not making profits. I am your host, King Petrelli, here at SafeBet Predictions, and I'm gonna share with you a few tips to really help you be better when betting on football or soccer, and this will enable you to make constant or consistent profits in the upcoming football season. So let's go. So some of the common mistakes that we make or most people make when it comes to sports or soccer betting is: number one, not managing their bankrolls. So bankroll management. When I say bankroll, what do I mean? Bankroll is the amount of money that you put aside for betting. So let's say, for example, you start with a thousand bob, a thousand USD. So that is your bankroll. Now you decide that I'm going to make stakes of 100, that are like 10 stakes. So you decide, like, every day I'm going to use 100. So maybe I'll do two bets, 50-50. If I win, okay. If I lose, I'm not going to stake more than the 100 that I've set aside for each and every day. So most of the people fail. Most of the people fail to be able to manage their bankroll, and that's when they make huge losses. You'll find that someone has put aside $1,000 for betting, and they'll only do like two bets of 500 each, and then they lose all that money. So if you're really clever when it comes to betting, when you lose, you'll have some money left for you to stake in the future. And if you're making profits, you know how to manage. I'm going to speak about something else, another point, as we continue. So stick around for the video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So the next point is emotional betting. Most of the time, we find that people sometimes get carried away with their emotions. Let's say, for example, if they are winning, you find that if they had set aside that they're going to use $100 to bet, now you'll see them increasing to 500 to $1,000. This can be helpful in a number of ways, or can be dangerous, because now if you decide that you are staking $100, but now you're staking like $500 or $1,000, if you minimize your risk, it can work on your side. But sometimes you find when you're using $100, maybe you are, let's say, targeting 5 odds, but now you're using $1,000 because you've been winning constantly. Now I think a wise decision is maybe to have like 2 odds maximum, because you are minimizing risks. You cannot bet with $1,000 maybe for 5 odds, because it's more riskier. So if the amount you're staking is a bit low, you can risk maybe 5 odds and above. But now if you're putting more money, you should minimize your risk. So you find that most of the people now, when they start betting, when they start winning or when they start losing, they are not able to manage their emotions, and this is very dangerous, because now they get losses trying to chase after their losses, and now they end up with mental health issues, because this is something that gets most of the bettors. I can say myself that I've been through that. That's why I'm doing videos like this, to try and help the ones who are starting on this, or maybe someone who's been a professional football investor. I'll just call them investors, to be able to learn from their mistakes. This is learnings from my mistakes that I've been able to follow, and during the last season, I can say for a fact that I've made a few profits. It's not much, but I can say I've made profits, and I've used some of this advice that I'm giving you out there. You should be able to manage your emotions. I can actually say this is the number one thing that you should be doing. When you're winning, have a cool head. When you're losing, also have a cool head. So manage your emotions. It will help you to be able to make profits in the long run. The other tip that I want to give you is finding value. Most of the time, like for me, I can say most of the time I'll go with the winner markets, and that has not really worked well, because sometimes you find that a big team, maybe like Manchester City, Real Madrid, I can say for a fact there was a time I was almost making it big, and my last bet was Real Madrid against Cadiz, and I had put Real Madrid to win either half. That match ended 0-0, and that was my final bet. I wish I could have cashed out, but then I was very confident about Real Madrid winning either half, and I lost a lot of money that I was supposed to win. And that made me realize there are other options that you can use. You can use draw no bet, be able to know the different new markets that are out there. I know draw no bet is not a new market, but I can say for a fact last season most of the people learned that there is this market called corners. So you there's corners, there's cards. You have to do deep analysis and find value. Most of the people, I can say a few guys that I know, most of the time they will bet like first half over 0.5, and you'll find that they have good odds, or maybe first half over 3.5 corners, and that maybe at times you'll get it in 10 minutes, the 3 or the 4 corners. You see, you have to find value. Instead of going for the winner markets, you can try and find something else that you can use to be able to get good value and less riskier. I'm going to go for the fourth tip, which is do not make huge risks. And in this, I can say I want to talk about accumulators. You find most of the time people put a lot of teams in the accumulators or ACAs, and they'll end up making losses. So the best thing for you to do, like for me, what I started doing is I'll make sure that in every stake that I'm making, I'll have a maximum of 4 teams, or the maximum number is 7 teams, because some of the time you find that, okay, I know these games, what I used to do was in the Premier League I'll get like 3 matches for overs, in La Liga, in Serie A, in Ligue 1, and the Bundesliga, the 5 leagues. So I'll put like overs, and then you end up like maybe in the Premier League 1 team out of maybe 15, you'll find that 14 were correct, but 1 team did not make the overs. So now I decided that now I'm going to trim down on this, and then maybe find more value and do less teams. So do not take a lot of risks in regards to accumulators. So make sure you are staking on fewer teams. That lowers your risk level. The fifth tip I can say is not making withdrawals. You find most of the time, this is something that I noted with myself, most of the time you make you're winning, but you're not withdrawing the money. So you find that the long run you would have used that money to stake more, and maybe you would have lost. So what I started doing is every time I would win, I would have like a plan. Let's say for example I'm targeting 2 odds, and maybe I have 1,000. I'll stake. If I get 2,000, I'm going to make sure that I withdraw at least 500, and then I'm left with the profit of 500 and the initial stake of 1,000. So now this other 500 is like a security. In case I lose the 1,000, I'll make sure that I use this one to make more money. But at the same time, I'm also withdrawing money to make sure that I'm also getting something. Most of the time, people are winning and making huge profits. But then there's this devil, or the emotions that I've already talked about. The more you see that your account has a lot of money, you start getting very confident, and now start making huge or taking huge risks, and in the long run it can be positive for you or negative. Most of the time I've seen it's negative, because people have now staked more and have lost even more, have made huge losses. So guys, if you've liked the video, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends. I'll be here giving you the best possible content in regards to soccer and football betting. The new season is upon us. It's only a few weeks and then we are here. So I'll be giving you the best tips each and every weekend, from the biggest leagues in Europe and everywhere. So make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.